shit, guys! Fire our shit!
Well, howdy folks, and welcome back to the garage. Today I'm looking over a soon-to-be-released British Tier 8 heavy premium tank, Chieftain T95. Technically a heavy tank, yes, but it really feels like a beefed British medium, like most of their heavies do, since they all share so many characteristics. Looking at the armor profile, the hull is quite lightly armored, with 85mm on the front, 50 on the side, and 25 on the rear. As with so many vehicles in this game, though, the armor thicknesses isn't the only thing to consider. I mean, frontally, the upper glacis is angled at a completely ridiculous angle, presenting anywhere from 85mm at the leading edge all the way to well over 400mm at the top edge. Lower glacis, while not as angled as the upper, it still presents, up to an effective thickness of 181mm, so that's pretty good. Side armor is protected by 56mm of spaced armor skirting, and a pretty significant gap between this and the actual hull armor, which will render heat and HE rounds mostly ineffective, I think. Angled, this spaced armor presents effective armor thicknesses hundreds of millimeters thick, not to mention the actual hull armor beyond, also presenting excellent thicknesses when angled. I have high hopes for side scraping in this vehicle. Turret armor is nothing short of excellent when viewed from the front. Hundreds of millimeters of effective armor, even as you move around to the sides a bit. It's still very good, but if you can keep it angled somewhat to your attackers, it'd be better. And better off to angle this side to them that has slope, whereas the other side has some slope and some unfortunate vertical surfaces. Overall, I think this armor should allow you to keep your 1500 hit point health pool healthy for some time, except that all this awesome is marred by a worthless 50mm thick pimple of a machine gun turret planted on the turret top. I've been totally taken apart by smart heavy drivers who barely had to expose themselves shooting over a hill and put shot after shot into this thing. Why go and ruin the vehicle like this? I mean, really, they've already done enough to it with the gun they've given it. And while classified as a heavy tank, the Chieftain almost makes me think medium tank at times. 52 tons being motivated by a 750 horsepower engine gives a respectable power to weight ratio of 14.4 horsepower per ton. Really quite good for a heavy tank, allowing for a top speed of 40 kilometers per hour, typical British speeds here, but still retaining typical heavy tank traverse speeds for hull and turret at 26.07 and 20.86 degrees of rotation respectively, stock out of the box. Now onto the gun and its mediocrity that I hinted at earlier. The gun is where most people will feel that this tank falls behind its competitors, I think. At only 90mm, it doesn't really pen that well at 202mm, with spicy APCR penning only 238. If you pen with a regular AP, you will average 225 hit points of damage and only 190 with the spicy ammo. And with these alpha values, it can take a very long time to burn down an opponent, since your rate of fire is nothing special at 9 rounds per minute stock out of the box. Again, so that same deal there, damage per minute of 2040 hit points isn't very good at all. Tier 10, really? Where this gun will really let you down is in the intimidation factor. No one will be scared to rush you, knowing you can only deal them 225 hit points of damage if you pen them. Lack of intimidation is the same problem that Tiger 1 has with the L71 88mm, and its specs are better than this weapon. The gun isn't all bad though. Dispersion rating of 0.345 and aim time of 3.5 seconds, coupled with a decent stock view range of 260 meters, allows it to aim for weak spots. Overall, I like this tank. Believe it or not, despite the mediocre gun and the stupid pimple on top of the turret. Frontally, this vehicle is armored quite well, but as always, keep your lower plate covered if at all possible. Think hull down if you can. I think side scraping is going to be a real option as well. I'm really looking forward to giving that quite a test. So, despite the gun, I think if you play to your armor strengths and don't let the enemy get a bead on the pimple, you should be able to stay alive long enough to have a positive impact on the battle for your team. I can't wait to see what you guys do with this tank. Well folks, there you have it. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like down below. If you really enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments. As well, be sure to visit my social media pages, both on Facebook and Twitter. This is where I post info that, well, not belonging in a video, it's worth taking a look at. I would also like to give a shout out to my Patreon supporters. You folks are making a huge difference for me. If you like what I do and enjoy the community all of us humans are building, please consider supporting the mission via my Patreon page. There are quite a few options with varying levels of support. Maybe one of them will suit you. Links to all things in the video description. Alright folks, thanks very much for stopping by and watching. I'll catch you next time.